Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Nizamuddin by Naim, and my meter number is 2316473. And I am delighted today to discuss a topic that lies at the heart of shaping our future: effective teaching. The role of a teacher is not merely to impart knowledge, but to inspire, guide, and ignite the flame of curiosity in their students. In the ever-evolving landscape of education, the concept of effective teaching becomes increasingly crucial. We all remember those teachers who left an indelible mark on our lives, that once who made learning not just a process but an adventure. Today, we will delve into the key attributes that make a teacher truly effective, exploring the art and science behind creating an engaging, impactful learning environment. Effective teacher is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is about understanding the unique needs of each student, adapting to different learning styles, and forcing an atmosphere of collaboration and exploration. As we navigate through this presentation, we will uncover strategies, share insight, and perhaps challenge some conventional notions about teachings. So, whether you are an educator seeking to enhance your teaching method, a student reflecting on your own learning experience, or someone passionate about the future of education, I invite you to join this journey as we explore the elements that contribute to the art of effective teaching. Next, the content we will discuss in this is study is definition of effective teachers. It is important traits of effective teachers with their actors. Teachers from Islamic perspective, which are talking about 5M: Mudaris, Muallim, Murabi, Muaddib, and Murshid. We have also done some research for our presentation with survey questions and interviews with some students. We will present the objective of the research, how the research has been conducted, the results, and the data analysis. So, first of all, we will go to definition part. An effective teacher plays a crucial role in order to shape the good behavior of future individuals, communities, and society. Recently, we have been exposed to news and videos on social media of behaviors problems among school students. It is by Rosnadi Hashim, 2004. It is impossible to exaggerate how important teachers are the key to helping pupils reach their full potential and develop a passion of learning. Nowadays, in the 21st century of learning, effective teachers should inspire, motivate, and guide students. They are catalysts for social, emotional, and intellectual development rather than just information distributor. It is the quote is from 1 Mazwati 2020. Moreover, as we know, in this era of technologies, they are growing rapidly. Students are always exposed to bad things, even though they are still having a good thing. As a youngsters, they will easily influenced by bad behavior such as bullying, vandalism, and more. Hence, teachers should be trained as well as they need to handle and manage the changes of students' behavior. Next, to start this, we need to understand first the meaning of effective and the meaning of the teachers. According to Cambridge Dictionary, the meaning of effective is successful or achieving the result wanted. Related to this topic, effective describes a particular teacher who had been the most successful in helping respondents learn. Walker, 2008. Next, the meaning of teacher. To make it more clear, let us take a look at the difference between the Western perspective and the Islamic view of meaning of the teacher. from the trainer, which is someone who transfers knowledge to someone else to reach the desired goal. This is from Abdul Basit 2020. The keyword there is transferring knowledge. However, the Islamic view of the meaning of teacher is broader than the Western perspective. We can see how Dr. Sheikh Naqim Al-Atas said three concepts of education in Islam. Which start from ta'lim, ta'dim and tarbiyah. It is from what Ahmad Shah said in 2008. So the teacher needs to play his role or her role as mu'allim, mu'adib, and most importantly is murabbi, as these three roles in Arabic are derived from the same root word as the three main goals of education Islamic respectively. The teachers not only need to transfer the knowledge, the teacher also need to teach and develop good values in students. Also need to guide and lead their students to be writers, men who become the Khalifa of Allah in this world. With this definition in mind, we can think and relate the relation between Western perspective and Islamic view for the meaning of the teacher. Is both of them set a goal that needs to be achieved by the teacher. If the Western goal is to transfer knowledge, then effective teacher is a teacher who achieves his or her goals in teaching and guiding students towards success in their lives. Of course, the benchmark results from a variety of goals. However, if they manage to realize it, the teaching is effective and they can be considered as effective teachers. What is important of effective teachers in education? Let us answer this question first. First, a teacher, when making a lesson plan, what is the first thing he or she needs to be considered before start planning activities and assessment? The answer is learning outcomes. Hence, effective teachers plays an important role in making learning outcomes come out as planned. The teacher needs to think truly and comprehensively about the activities, lectures, and assessment to make sure the student grasp the learning outcomes that they want. This is what Hawthorne 2002 said. From these outcomes comes the next importance of effective teachers, such as the excellence of student in academic and soft skill, developing mutual trust between teacher and student, and making students feel motivated to learn and come to school. We have discussed why it is important to be an effective teacher. The next question that needs to be answered is how to be an important teacher, which we'll discuss in the next subtopic of traits of an effective teacher.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Shazril Eiman bin Muhammad Sharif with metric number 2228733. Now I will be presenting my part, which is the 8 traits of an effective teacher. First of all, the traits of an effective teacher is prepared. The most effective teachers come to class each day ready to teach the lesson. According to Robert J. Walker, 2008, teachers should prepare all class materials before class starts with the topic that student will learn on the day. Hence, the well-prepared classroom session will run smoothly and avoid students bored and less likely to fall asleep. Secondly, effective teachers also have to be positive. According to Robert J. Walker, 2008, having optimist attitudes about teaching and student will affect a person who wants to be an effective teacher. The most important things that effective teachers need to show in their characters towards their student is positivity, as they are the main person who influence the student. Thirdly, they also have to hold high expectation. As the way towards an effective teachers, they have to set no limits on students and believe everyone can be successful. The characteristics that they need is to hold the highest standards for their students, such as they believe that the student will pass the exam with great result and achieve their goals. Next, effective teachers have to be creative. Most effective teachers are resourceful and inventive in how they teach their classes to be more fun and cheerful. The creative learning process can be in many ways based on the 21st century due to the growth of technology. For instance, teachers might use the computer-based learning method as students nowadays have been exposed to devices at an early age. Moving on to the next, which is the fifth, the traits of an effective teacher is to be fair to students. According to the Robert J. Walker 2008, to become an effective teacher, they must handle students and grade them fairly. It is not just to apply by teachers, but parents or pupils who handle a youngster should show this characteristic, because as a human being, they must be treated equally to save their mental health. Hence, effective teachers should allow their students equal opportunities and privilege while teaching them. Next, effective teacher also needs to display a personal touch. The most effective teachers are approachable with students. According to the Robert J. Walker 2008, the teachers stay connected with students personally in any way just to make sure they are in good condition. They must know their student closely if they have any issues or problems that make their learning performance drop. So, as a good teacher, take some actions to solve the problem or refer them to the authority. The second last of the traits of effective teachers is they have a sense of humor. As per discussion, effective teachers do not take everything seriously and make learning fun. According to the Robert J. Walker 2008, they use humor to break the ice in difficult situations. Sometimes, in the middle of learning, teachers should make jokes or laugh just to avoid them being boring. This situation helps students to feel happy when learning, especially the boring subject or subject that needs them to read. And last but not least, effective teachers should respect their students. The most effective teachers do not deliberately embrace students in any way or situation. According to the Robert J. Walker 2008, this shows that teachers who give the highest respect get the highest respect. It should be noted that they must respect students' privacy, such as when returning their test paper or their worksheets. It might be embracing among students if they get the lowest mark.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nur Alif bin Azmi. My matric number is 2224435. I want to start by exploring how Islam views teachers and their significance in the broader context of education. First, knowledge and good morals. In Islam, there's a profound emphasis on knowledge and good morals for believers. The Quran, in its initial verses of chapter Al-A'la, highlights the importance of knowledge, attributing it to Allah, who created humanity, taught the unknown, and validated understanding through knowledge. Next, role of Prophet Muhammad. Moving on, let's reflect on Prophet Muhammad as a teacher. He is considered a teacher who received knowledge from Allah and conveyed it to mankind. The term mu'allim used to refer to a teacher in Islam closely resembles the role of Prophet Muhammad in teaching and transferring knowledge. Inculcating good morals. Expanding our perspective, we have the concept of mu'addib, a role broader than mu'allim. It involves not only imparting knowledge but also instilling and developing good morals and behaviors in students. According to Al-Attas, this role, known as ta'dib, is the best explanation of the aim of education in Islam, encompassing both knowledge and good deeds. Islamic perspective on knowledge and education. Now, let's address the common misconception that arises when people perceive teachers solely as conveyors of knowledge for exams. Islam views education as a combination of knowledge and good deeds, reflecting the comprehensive nature of ta'dib. Dynamic relationship between knowledge and teachers. Islam establishes a strong and dynamic relationship between the importance of knowledge and the role of teachers. Teachers play a crucial role in conveying knowledge, aligning with Islam's emphasis on education and knowledge. Next, let's we look at the mudarris. Before we go deeper into the role of mudarris, let's explore the origin of the term. The word mudarris originates from the Arabic verb darrasa yadrusu, meaning to teach. The root word darrasa yadrusu, this verb finds its roots in darrasa yadrusu, signifying the transition from learning to learn. It encapsulates the essence of educational journey, reflecting the continual process of acquiring knowledge. Foundational role of a teacher. As we uncover the foundation role of a mudarris, it becomes apparent and that this term goes beyond mere instruction. It symbolizes the educator's pivotal position in guiding students through the intricate path of learning. Core concept: teaching what one has learned. At its core, the concept of mudarris is centered around the idea of teaching what one has learned and knows. This mirrors the essence of a true teacher who imparts not just knowledge but also the wisdom gained through personal understanding and experience. In conclusion, being a mudarris is more than a profession. It is a commitment to nurturing the intellectual and moral development of those under one's guidance. Next, we go to the mu'allim. Let's explore the root term of mu'allim, shedding light on its significance in the realm of education. The origin word is allama yu'allimu. Mu'allim is derived from the Arabic verb allama yu'allimu, which translates to teach. To teach. As we go deeper, the root word allama yu'allimu is at the core, signifying the act of knowing something. This encapsulates the profound connection between teaching and deep understanding. Mudarris versus mu'allim. While mudarris is associated with teaching what's learned, mu'allim takes it a step further. It involves teaching what's not only learned but also known, understood, and mastered. This emphasizes the necessity for a teacher to possess a deep understanding and mastery of the subject matter. Mu'allim therefore implies a thorough mastery of a field of knowledge. It goes beyond surface level understanding, highlighting the commitment to profound expertise in the subject matter. To illustrate, consider a biology teacher with a degree or master's degree. This individual is a mu'allim, as they have not only learned but deeply understood and mastered in the intricacies of their subject. Dr. Said Nakib Al-Attas emphasizes that the mu'allim is not just someone who imparts knowledge. They provide knowledge to others by drawing on their deep understanding and mastery of the subject. In conclusion, mu'allim embodies the role of an educator who not only teaches but elevates the learning experience through a profound connection with subject matter.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you to Brother Alif for explaining about the view of Islamic and the Islamic view upon the profession of a teacher, and explaining the first two M from 5M, which is Mudaris and Muallim. Now I will continue with the 3M, which is Murabbi, Muadib and Murshid. Okay, so I will start with Murabbi. Murabbi is a term derived from the Arabic verb Rabba Yurabbi, that means to develop. The connotation of this word, according to the Tertiary Al-Atas, is to produce, to develop from the hidden personality. However, Al-Atan in his book, The Concept of Education in Islam, did not agree with the term tarbiyah to portray the meaning of education, even though there are many supporters for this issue, and they came out with a good argument and opinions. Al-Atas disagreed because the term tarbiyah, based on Ibn Manzur in his dictionary Lisan al-Arab, refer to nurture, to bear, to feed. In the semantic of Arabic language, the term tarbiyah is not only limited to the mankind alone, also be used for animals, minerals, and plants. Therefore, it is not suitable to be said as the real meaning of education, because Dr. Al-Atas focus on education is peculiar only to humankind. So, what is murabbi? The teacher must play his or her role in becoming a murabbi by instilling and developing good values in students. Teachers are responsible for nurturing the talent and skill of their students as a preparation for themselves to live in the era of rapid technological development and widespread modernization. It is true that we want our students to excel in their studies and to pass with flying color. However, we still want them to be good people who act as a Caliph of Allah SWT in this world, to do what is good and to forbid what is bad. Therefore, it returns back to the role of teacher as a murabbi for the student, which is to instill and develop good values in student. Okay, the next M, which is mu'addib, term derived from an Arabic verb adaba yu'adibu, that's mean to teach. From the aspect of Arabic theology, it has a holistic meaning that includes knowledge and charity simultaneously, which can be seen in Lisan al-Arab that have been written by Ibn Manzur. This explains why Dr. Al-Atas said that ta'dib is more suitable to portray the meaning of education rather than tarbiyah. We can see how Prophet Muhammad SAW said in one of his hadiths, which is fa'addabani rabbi fa'asana ta'dibi, which means my God has educated me and thus becoming my best education. The word ta'dib is explicitly used in this hadith, and according to Azajas, ta'dib here means how Allah SWT has educated his prophet, and of course it contains the concept of perfect education. The teacher's role as a mu'addib here is to educate his or her student comprehensively on knowledge and theories in the classroom and values and charity that they need to know in real life. As we discussed earlier, we want them to be the righteous man and Khalifa in this world, who do what Allah SWT told them to do, avoid doing what has been forbidden. To realize this goal, the perfect education must be given to them, starting from school. And that's explain the role of teacher, which is to be a mu'addib, to teach the student theories, academic, and also inculcate and develop them with a good charity and good moral in their life. And now, the last M from 5M, which is Murshid, is a term derived from an Arabic verb, Arshada Yushidu, and that's mean to guide. For Murshid, I will only explain based on the usement or the semantic from the semantic of Arabic language only, because based on my research, Murshid, the role of Murshid in the purpose of education related to the way of Sufism, which related to the tariqat or to achieve the highest meaning in life, based on the Islamic worldview. Therefore, this role is more focused on the teacher self, but it is also related to teaching and guiding students. The teacher, as a murshid, means teacher as a guide and leader of his or her student to the right way to success. Based on this role, a teacher must have a good values, master knowledge, and practice correct Islamic teaching. Why? Because before guiding student to the right way, a teacher must be on the right way first. Only then can a teacher teach them the right knowledge, practice, and good values in this life. Therefore, this is the 5M or the five role of teacher in Islamic view. The first one is Mudaris, the second one is Mu'alim, Murabbi, Mu'addib, and Murshid. Therefore, why do we need to know this five role? Because it's related. This role, this role have their own focus. They have their own focus. They need to be focused on as a teacher, as a Islamic, as a Muslim teacher, and how can this role help them to achieve the effectiveness in teaching and in managing their classroom.
We go to the next part, which is about our research. First of all, I will talk about the purpose of this research. The objective of this study is to find what factors make a class interesting and students easily understand what they learn. An interesting class and the level of student understanding is also the result of an effective teacher. So, we ask the student to give their views based on their experience in learning. The second one, we try to relate whether it is right or not about the theories we give with the practically. The theories that we mentioned earlier discuss about effective teachers. So, teachers who use this method want of the answers from the student. And the last purpose of this study is to identify the advantages and disadvantages, weakness and strengths of this effective teacher. It is possible that the answers given by the student can help us in completing our study. So that's all from me. Next, we will continue with the section how the research has been conducted. Thank you.
Now, I will explain about research method, which means the method of collecting data and gathering the information to succeed in this assignment. For your information, our group is using both research methods, qualitative and quantitative. For the qualitative, we use a survey by blasting the Google form. It is to collect feedback from the IIUM students from all kulliyah about their knowledge of the effectiveness of teacher and classroom management. There are two sections in the Google form, which are the demographic section and open-ended questions. The questions asked are based on the topic to achieve the objective. Next, the quantitative. We interviewed 3 students. One was an ICOL student and the rest were co-ed students. There are 3 questions that answered by the respondents. The first one is, what do you understand about effective teaching and effective classroom management? According to the first interviewee, Nur Wahida Shahira binti Muhammad Jamil, effective teaching is about how teachers can achieve the intended result in education and produce excellent students. Teachers may use various teaching methods and promote students' participations in the learning process. Instead of only supplying information to the students, to make it effective teaching, teachers may involve discussion and interactive activity and relate the learning to the current issues around us. Next, classroom management is another crucial aspect to be concerned about. Teachers can help students feel more eager and motivated to learn by creating an effective and well-managed. The second question is, do you have any experience with a good or bad teacher? Why do you consider that teacher as good or bad? According to the second interviewee, Nur Hidayah binti Khairul Nawar, yes, she is a good teacher. She communicates with every single one of us to make sure everyone understands the topic and keep repeating even without there were students who still didn't understand. Last but not least, the question is, what do you think are the best components that need to be implemented by teachers to make the classroom effective? According to the third interviewee, Alia Najiha, every teacher should be creative and futurities so that the student will enjoy in the classroom.
Okay, thank you to Brother Nizam for explaining about the purpose, the objective of conducting this research for survey and interview. And also thank you to Brother Shazril for explaining about the methodology that has been used to conduct this research, and also for showing the questions that have been used in the interviews and survey. Next, back with me, Brother Aminuddin, and we will be looking and maybe analyze a little bit result and data that we have got from the survey and interviews. Inshallah, we will start with the survey first. And the first question: do you have experience in learning with a good teacher? Alhamdulillah, we have got 50 respondents and 50 responses from them, showing that all of them have an experience in learning with a good teacher. I believe this question is kind of common, and everybody must have an experience in learning with a good teacher. For your information, among the 50 responses from respondent, all of them come from the student above 18 years old, which means they have already entered the college or the STPM level, maybe in the foundation, maybe in the STAM, and above degree and much more. Therefore, learning with the teachers has been a very great experience with them because they have many experience in learning with many teachers. Because when learning in the primary school, learning in secondary school, each of them have many teachers that, that they have learned with. Therefore, it must be among them, among the teacher that they have learned with, a good teachers which motivate them and give them support to study with good. Therefore, we will take a look at the next question, which is also related to this question. Now, for the second question, why do you consider that teacher as a good teacher? This question related to the first question because all of the respondents can be seen have an experience in learning with a good teacher. Therefore, we need to know why the respondent considers that teacher as a good teacher. Okay, the first choice, which is I can understand what he or she teach. About 92% from the 50 respondent, 46 respondent consider that teacher as a good teacher because he or she can understand what the teacher teaches in classroom. I believe this is the most significant and the most relevant in relating this. A good teacher can be a that particular good teacher can be an effective teacher because this is related to the learning outcome or the learning objective that teacher may want to achieve in his lesson plan. And I think there are none other learning outcome that is more important rather than understanding the student the content that they are learning. And this teacher can be this particular good teacher can be considered as an effective teacher because he or she success in make the student understand the content they are learning. Therefore, his learning outcome, his learning objective has already been achieved. Then, the next choice, which is I feel fun and happy in the teacher classroom. This second choice is related to the environment or the vibe in classroom. A teacher is responsible to make his or her class feel welcome and positive and healthy and happy because the student, because the concentration, the focus of student in classroom really affected by the environment of the classroom. To make the student understand more, to make understand more about the learning, therefore the environment of the classroom need to be positive and healthy. Okay, the third choice, he or she always come to class. It is related to the integrity. Some of the respondent, about 60 respondent, consider a good teacher is a teacher who has a good integrity. Because this is also based on my experience. My teacher doesn't enter class for such a very long period, and the learning process is kind of stuck because he doesn't teach anything, and how can we learn anything? Okay, and next is he or she use the fun way like games and quizzes to teach us. This related to the teaching methodology. A good teacher will always be progressive in making the teaching methodology suitable with the student. And I believe nowadays student really love in learning process using games and quizzes. Then the last one is he or she is always calm when teaching, and this is related to the emotion regulation of a teacher. How can he control his emotion when learning? We often hear the case of our student, of a teacher angry at the student being fierce in class because he or she cannot control his emotion in class. And there are a few about two plus for addition from the respondent, which is he always have different approach in teaching, also related to the teaching methodology, teaching approach. And the last one is he or she doesn't presume in understanding the lessons. Therefore, this is the reason why a good teacher, why the respondent consider this teacher as a good teacher. And I do believe this good teacher, the first choice is we can already consider his or her as a effective teacher, and for the other choice, this teacher is on the way to become the effective teacher. Okay. Okay, for the third question, do you have experience in learning with a bad teacher? For the space 50 respondent, 89% from them have an experience in learning with a good teacher, but only 40% doesn't have any experience in learning with a good teacher. Okay, we will move to the next question because we need to know why respondent consider that teacher as a bad teacher. Okay, the fourth question, why do you consider that teacher as a bad teacher? The third and the fourth question is the opposite of from the first and second question. If a student know why no and can consider a teacher, the teacher as a good teacher, they can also see or and consider that particular teacher as a bad teacher. We in the choices for the first question, we also put the opposite choices from the second question to see the resemblance between these two questions. Okay, the first one is I cannot understand anything from his or her teaching. There are about 33%, 33 respondent consider a teacher as a bad teacher because he cannot understand anything from the teaching of that particular teacher. This is very important and this is very crucial because a teacher's learning outcome here, which is to make the student understand the content, is not achieved by the teacher. Maybe the teacher is lack in many factors, such as maybe the teaching approach or the teaching methodology that he or she use. Maybe the set of a vibe in this and the environment in his or her classroom is not good, and we can see that if a student cannot understand anything, then these are at a very critical level of learning process. And we really cannot consider this teacher as an effective teacher. Maybe he or she still has a long way before becoming an effective teacher. Okay, the second choice, which is I does not like to be in his or her class, about 80 respondent consider that teacher as a bad teacher because of this. Because maybe this is related to the environment, to the vibe of the classroom, and that teacher feel in making his classroom feel welcome and healthy. And his classroom, the vibe of his class may be a negative because maybe for the many factors, for the lack of maybe this teacher is biased, prejudiced, and his lack of empathy for his student, have any problem in understanding the difficulties in his student, they and he or she really come to class. Okay, this is very I think this is very critical because related to the critical of a profession of a teacher, because if he or she, that teacher cannot come to class, then how can he teach and how can he achieve the learning outcome that should be achieved by the teacher? This related to the integrity of a teacher, and a teacher that doesn't come to class, doesn't teach a student the content for the exam and academic matters. This teacher maybe as a good teacher and also fail in becoming a good teacher because he cannot he doesn't have a sense of integrity in his or her life, because if he doesn't come to class without any reason, if have any reason, I believe this teacher, the student can accept it. But if he or she doesn't come to class, or based on my experience, it is very critical. Okay, next, he or she does not know how to control his emotion. Okay, this often happen. We can see in the newspaper, in the social media. A teacher angry or being fierce at a student and doesn't know how to control her emotion, which is really good. The student sometimes will be afraid, will be afraid with what happened in the classroom. And this is very critical. We need to create environment an environment in the classroom as a good environment, healthy environment, so the student can concentrate and focus in the learning process. And at the last of this choice that has been added by the respondent, but as he or she is a teacher, we still has to respect that he. Okay, this is true. I believe the respondent doesn't feel comfortable to share about the experience, or why do she or he consider that teacher as a bad teacher. But we still need to take a look upon this reason about the consideration of a teacher as a bad teacher, because a bad teacher need to become a good teacher first, and still have a long way before becoming an effective teacher. And now for the fifth question, do you understand what is effective teaching? From 50 responses, we got 88% understand what is effective teaching, and 12 more doesn't understand what is effective teaching. Okay, for the sixth question, who do you think plays the most important role in making a classroom effective? The first one is teacher, 48%, 96% for respondent agree with this. Next is parent, 80%, school administrator, 42%, staff, 12%, and student, 74%. Okay, we can see that the data here show that many students agree that teacher and the student has a very important role in making that classroom and teaching process effective, because I believe we have parents, we also have school administrator and staff, but the most biggest interaction or the longest interaction in school is when in the classroom, in the PDP process, when the teacher teach student and student learn from the teacher. Therefore, these two sides from the teacher and student has need to play an important role. Teacher need to have his method, his approach in making the classroom effective, and the student is the one is the subject that need to feel the effectiveness of the classroom, and they are the proof if that teacher achieve the effectiveness of that classroom or not. And Alhamdulillah, many of our respondents can see or can agree with this idea, because because many respondents agree that teachers and students play the important role in making the classroom and learning process effective. Okay, we have reached the end of the question for the survey. What do you seek the most when learning in the classroom? This is related to the opinion for the student upon how to make the classroom more effective, even though we ask it indirectly, but we believe that in fulfilling the student need in the student, what the student seek in learning process will make the student feel more motivated and will make the teaching process more effective. Okay, the first one is fun learning. About 31 to respondent agree with this. They seek the fun learning by using the game and quizzes. This related to the teaching approach that is different from the normal teaching approach, which is lecture only. That will make the student feel more happy and feel more. Inshallah, will get more knowledge if this teaching method will be used in the classroom. Okay, the next one is HP classroom environment. It's related to the vibe and the environment of the classroom. About 41 respondents agree with this and seek for this, because the vibe of the environment really affect the study and learning process of the student in the classroom. Therefore, the teacher, as I said many times, the teacher really need to and have the responsibility to make the classroom feel welcome and happy and healthy and positive for the student to learn with more concentration and focus. Okay, then the sporting teacher, about 42% respondent agree with this, one of the highest, because this type of teacher, a teacher which is relaxed, flexible, and can adapt with the personality, with the different personality of a student, will really influence the student to learn in their subject with much better. The student can will feel more comfortable to ask the question, and the student will feel more comfortable to interact with the teacher. And the next one is understand the topic. This is the we say it as the real purpose of a study for the student, and the real purpose and the real learning outcome for the teacher that the teacher want to achieve. And I believe this type of student really understand the meaning of effectiveness in the teaching process, in the teaching learning process, and understanding this topic is very important. And all students should be seeking for it in order to become excel in the in the academic and to achieve excellence in their studies. Okay, the next one is calm and cheerful learning, also related to the environment and the vibe of the classroom. And next one is useful gadget. It's related to the savviness of a teacher in using a gadget, in using the technology, and this kind of a different approach also a different approach teaching method. There's no that, and then a normal teaching approach of lecturer. Then for the using the useful gadget, but this kind of you need to have a many fund, a big fund to if for example a 30 student in the classroom, and all of them need to learn by using tablet. Therefore, a big fund is needed to make this useful gadget. To fulfill the need of the student, which is to get the useful gadget and to use it in the learning process. And then next one is textbook. Uh, Even though we also doesn't have many respondents agree to this, but in my opinion, I also believe the usement of gadget is more efficient beside the using a textbook. But textbook also has its own benefit, because it's act as the curriculum, it's act as the syllabus of the subject that the student are studying and the teacher are teaching. And the last one is kind of addition for one respondent, which is happy environment in the classroom, happy environment in the classroom, happy environment between classmates, which means supporting each other. Okay, this is related to the social relation. between the student in the classroom. I also believe the student and the teacher has a responsibility to make this possible, And this is the end of the question for the survey. And Alhamdulillah, out from 50 responses, 70% and more than them understand the meaning of effective learning and effective teaching and effective classroom management. Therefore, when the student know what is effective teaching, effective classroom management, I believe the teacher must know more about this and must achieve this effectiveness of teaching by uh, by by giving an intention in his or her teaching approach in the overall aspect of making the teaching and classroom management more effective.
And lastly, we go to the conclusion. Firstly, effective Western teachers possess a spectrum of attributes: readiness, optimism, high standards, creativity, justice, human connection, humor, and respect. These qualities collectively contribute to a dynamic and enriching learning environment. Creating a positive and engaging classroom atmosphere involves maintaining a positive attitude, being prepared, and setting high standards. These elements are foundational to a constructive learning space. In the 21st century, an effective teacher integrates technology innovatively, adding relevance to the educational process and capturing the interests of modern learners. Recognizing and adapting to diverse learning styles is crucial. Treating students fairly and building supportive relationships contribute to an inclusive and effective teaching approach. A positive teaching atmosphere is further enhanced through the appropriate use of humor and a deep respect for the privacy and dignity of each student. Shifting our focus to Islam, education is emphasized as an obligation for all believers. Seeking knowledge is a fundamental principle in Islam. Finally, effective teachers play pivotal roles in shaping not only academic knowledge but also moral values. This aligns with the broader aim in Islam to create individuals with good morals and virtues, contributing to a society rooted in these principles. In conclusion, whether from Western perspective or guided by Islamic principles, effective teaching transcends the mere imparting of knowledge. It involves creating a dynamic and inclusive environment, integrating technology thoughtfully, and instilling not only academic prowess but also moral values. Thank you for your attention and thank